Sixers fans, welcome back to the show. I am your host, Lawrence Arnell, and this is Sixers City, where we talk Sixers basketball. And today we're talking about a Sixers win. Imagine that, huh? Yeah, Sixers pulled it off in overtime. All right, in Indiana versus the Pacers, 118 to 114. I kind of want to open this show by saying, while I completely understand the idea and why someone might be entertained by a wire-to-wire, flip-flop lead, genuinely contentious, like competitive basketball game that comes down to the final shot, the final play, the final seconds, can't turn your eyes away from it. Competitive basketball game, which is what this was. This was a game where you had to watch the whole game. My wife and I spent the last few minutes of the overtime just in the car. We were coming out from watching some of the game out, and we were watching it in the car in the driveway. We couldn't even get out of the car. We were watching it on the phone in the driveway because we wanted to see the game. Okay, great. I understand the appeal of such a game. But just once, I would like to see the Sixers just stroll into somebody else's stadium and walk out with a dominating lead, win, performance. Just once, I'd like to see the Sixers dominate another team. Pause. Just once. But I know that that's not going to happen with Tyrese Maxey being our lone star player, right? Our other weapons are sidelined at the moment, and you know, we were actually able to pull one out. Pause. This game, I got the stats here. 118-114, Sixers over the Pacers. Kelly Oubre Jr. with 14 points. Shout out to Kelly Oubre Jr. I have something more to say about him a little bit later on. Caleb Martin with 17 points. Shout out to Caleb Martin. I have something to say about him a little bit later on. Andre Drummond with 17 rebounds. 17 rebounds for Andre Drummond. I think that's incredible. Shout out to Daryl Morey for making it such a point to bring somebody to the team who can impact us in such a way, who could actually have an absolutely instantaneous impact on a thing that we had a genuine deficit in, which was our rebounding ability. We were one of the worst rebounding teams in the league last year. Tyrese Maxey, 48 minutes, 45 points. Big deal. Big star stuff going on there. Kyle Lowry at 6 points in 17 minutes. Kyle's been one of our more dependable three-point shooters. I think that's really dope that he stepped up the way he did. Eric Gordon stepping up. We brought in some veterans. We got a lot of guards on this team, and we brought in some veterans, and Eric Gordon's one of them, and he has actually been showing up. Eric Gordon gets on the court, and he actually shows up, man. 15 points in 32 minutes. I think that's incredible. I don't know what's going on with Reggie Jackson. I don't know if Reggie Jackson is going to make the cut. He doesn't seem to be somebody Nick Nurse feels as though he can depend on. And I think that his performance in the first couple of games and his time on the court in the preseason kind of support that. So, you know, I don't know if we're going to be seeing Reggie Jackson. I was under the impression he was kind of an instant offense guy. You know what I mean? A microwave scorer who could come out and impact with good decision making, you know what I mean? Former champion and talented guard who we might be able to depend on. It just doesn't seem to be the case. I don't know if he's just out of shape or just not playing hard, but he, you know, the vibes were high when he got here, and it just doesn't seem to be working out. It's not quite as advertised. Gershon Yabusele is somebody who's as advertised. 0 points, but 6 rebounds and 4 assists. Is a guy who was actually finding a way to make himself impactful throughout the course of the game. The game was, like I said, it was a real down to the wire kind of thing. Not the way I want to see the team win, but a W is a W, right? Toward the end of the game, you just had one of those plays that you weren't going to be able to do anything about. I mean, this is Tyrese Halliburton with a clutch three-pointer. I don't know the last time I've seen a guy double pump a three-point shot, a defended three-point shot. As impressive as Tyrese Halliburton's three-point shot is in this moment, and it is impressive, It comes after 2 back-to-back steals by Andre Drummond, which is incredible in its own right? Andre Drummond keeping the dream alive for us out there, focused on defense. He's got way better hands than I ever imagined. I don't know why that comes as a surprise that a guy who is capable of timing rebounds the way that he is has good hands on defense in general, but he's got his hands in the mix a lot, on a lot of defensive plays. He's been poking the ball away a lot. I'm not going to pause again. But Andre Drummond has very good hands, and this three-pointer from Tyrese Halliburton comes after those plays, which is great. But a double-pumped three-point shot, as impressive as it is in clutch time to help, secure this game and move us into overtime for what it was worth, as impressive as that is, I'm more impressed with Kelly Oubre on this play. You can't really do much about a guy who's going to hit a clutch three-pointer that he just double pumped at the arc, right? You can't do anything about that. Tyrese Halliburton's going to Tyrese Halliburton. We're going to see a lot of that over the course of his career. What you do see a lot of is Kelly Oubre Jr. attempting to play defense and not being able to do so without fouling. And here you have a guy who actually may have kicked his legs out a little bit. He may have actually kicked his legs out just a tad, and Kelly Oubre Jr. manages to defend him without fouling. Quite frankly, I'm impressed at the guy. I'm impressed that he was able to contain himself enough that he did not foul, because giving up a foul on a made three-point shot right there could have cost us the game, would likely have cost us the game. We did not need a 4-point play at that time. Now, I don't know if it was a foregone conclusion that it was a 4-point play, because Tyrese Halliburton whiffed a couple free throws later on in overtime and gave the game away. You know what I mean? The game was ours at that point. And Kelly Oubre Jr., for what it's worth, his great defensive restraint on that play, he blew a free throw in overtime. That we don't need blown free throws in overtime. You know what I'm saying? So, and if I'm gonna get on him about that, then you got to get on Tyrese Maxey, for also blowing a free throw in the overtime. It's just not a thing that we need. At the same time, if you come down to a point where you're talking about blown free throws and the chance of winning or losing a game based on a free throw, that means there were mistakes made way, way earlier in the game, right? There are deficiencies in your plan, in your game, in your execution way earlier than that, if the free throws in overtime are the thing that are what you're hanging your game on, okay? So the guys did what they had to do. They did what they needed to do. They secured the win, and that, we'll take that. We're now 1-2, and going into these next couple of games, maybe getting our all-stars back, okay? Let's see. Sean Bernard has a tweet here that I think is worth looking at, where he says, "Don't let Tyrese Maxey's performance today get under-discussed. After being held to 7 points and dropping 2 of 11 on three-point attempts early in the third quarter, he let his emotions show and turned things around. 45 points, 4 assists, 4 rebounds, 2 blocks. Scored 11 of the Sixers, 13 in OT. Tyrese Maxey has shown no hesitation whatsoever in putting the team on his back and doing everything in his power to help us remain competitive in the face of other missing players. He doesn't seem to be complaining about what he's got to do out there. He doesn't seem to take anything to heart as far as who's available and why. There's a tweet here from the Sixers themselves, him and Joel in the post game, kind of giving each other some dap. They seem to still be on decent terms. He doesn't seem to have any animosity toward these other players who are not quite available and there to help him as we would all like him to be. So shout out to Tyrese Maxey for his level of maturity and resilience that he's been showing. I think he's got a long career ahead of him. Tyrese Maxey is the future face of this league. I'll say it 1,000 times, and I think everybody's just got to get on board. Maxey's not going anywhere, and he's showing that he's got that black Jesus, that Mamba in him. Pause. And I think that I think it's just itself over time. So shout out to you guys for checking in If you like the content, do me a favor, apply pressure to the corresponding buttons down below, and maybe somebody else will get a chance to join in with the content and interact with the content. Let me know how they feel too. In the meantime, do yourself a favor, get close to God, and whatever you do, do good. All right? Peace.